The summer real estate slump is officially here. Hey, Lily with Living Room Realty in Portland, Oregon, here to give you a real estate market update for the month of July 2024. So, yes, we are in that time period that comes around every year where real estate really starts to slow down. It feels a little bit more significant this year because we've had a slower year or slower past 2 years in general. And then this really big boost in the spring that was honestly kind of surprising how much activity there was. So it feels quite significant now that we're seeing things slow down again. But as I said, this is fairly normal. Typically after the 4th of July, there'll still be a good amount of activity, but as we head into August, things slow down as folks start to get in their last vacations, last camping trips, and get geared up for school as well to start in September. So when we can look at the numbers, we can see that as well. New listings went down by 13% with 3,040 homes going on the market last month. Pending sales saw a decrease of 6% with 2,217 homes going under contract, and sold homes saw a decrease of just actually 2% with 2,081 homes going to new homeowners. Inventory of homes, interestingly, there actually saw an increase again. So from 2.3 months to 2.6 months, meaning that if no new homes were to hit the market, based on demand, we would see the amount of homes available go away within that around 2.5 month mark. So pretty good, actually. We've actually been wanting to see an increase in inventory over time. During the pandemic, we had this extreme low inventory because buyer demand was so high and it just wasn't matched by seller demand. So by having that higher inventory, it's a great sign for buyers, but I would argue even for sellers as well to some degree. Having somewhat of a balanced market is helpful for everyone just to have some more predictability to what's happening. Obviously for sellers, it was a great market when there was very low inventory and your home was selling for 100K over asking, but you probably get what I mean. And we can talk about that more. And then average sales price stayed pretty stable around 607. So we've seen it kind of range around that number and, hit a little above $600,000 now. So good signs there for anybody who is thinking about selling a house. It's interesting to note that even with high interest rates, we have seen home prices stay fairly stable on average and even have seen some increases over time. So great news there if you are someone who is thinking about selling your home. On to some interesting topics. So as I mentioned, kind of trends for right now, we should see things stay pretty slow and, kind of steady here come through August. I will say personal anecdote though, I have had a good amount of clients say they're either going to, on the buyer side at least, going to restart their search in August or are starting their search in August. So it seems pretty busy. And then I do have a few listings coming up as well in that time period. So I don't think the market is really, I don't know, I'm almost predicting, again, this only based on my business, somewhat what I've talked with some other people. It might actually be a stronger August than we're used to. We can see. I'll talk here a little bit about interest rates in a second. And I actually have a prediction that maybe August will be busy due to interest rates decreasing in September. So there's some logic there. I'll get into that. But yeah, in general, it seems like things will still be pretty busy. But if, we're following just general historic trends, come September, we will see the market really pick up. So if we do see the market lower and you're just not, let's say you're a buyer and you just don't see any properties out there, don't worry, you'll see a bunch come back in September. And then same thing for you home sellers. If you don't have, you actively have your house on the market in August and you're not seeing as much activity, things will really pick up in a few weeks. And then when it comes to strategy there, if you're thinking of selling in August, no, the really serious buyers are still going to be out there. As I said, I have a few people planning to search in that time. So it's definitely possible to sell and you'll be selling to someone who's really serious about buying a home. All right, on to the big topic. It's been the big topic for a while now, interest rates. It is fairly confidently predicted. I just saw a statistic that it was like, I don't know if that's a statistic, but data that 90% of economic experts say that there is going to be a drop in interest rates in September. I have heard other news of interest rates dropping in September, and I've heard some mixed reviews too. One loan officer made a really good point about them that, with the election coming up, are they going to make any major moves? Sometimes it's to the benefit to do somewhat of a drop, but we also don't want to do anything that's too crazy to then, what other economic circumstances could that bring about? We don't want to mess with stuff too much. Obviously, the Fed is its own independent body, but, that's an interesting point there I thought I'd share. But yeah, in general, it does seem like we are going to see a rate drop. Now, is this going to be anywhere back to the 2, 3, 4% interest rates we saw during the 2021 time period? No, likely not. For sure, I would be pretty positive. I would go bet with you on that it'll never be, or not anytime soon, be in that 2 to 3% range. Again, I don't know if we'll likely see that in our lifetime. Be great. But yeah, we're probably talking maybe in the fives, but likely we're still really talking about that 6% range. So it's going to be significant in terms of if you are an active buyer out there and what you can afford and having better affordability. But the caveat, and I always talk to people about this, when interest rates do drop, especially if they do drop significantly, it is going to bring so many buyers to the market. So we're already in a market where there is high demand from buyers and still not as much, demand match when it comes on the seller side. It's getting a lot better. We have that higher inventory now, but we have such high buyer demand. And again, that will get way greater once we have those interest rates actually drop. I saw a while ago, I read a data piece that was like, nationally, if the rates are to fall by 1%, like 1 million plus new buyers will move into the market. Like, it was something crazy. I'll have to look that up again and share that. But so just so you know, as a buyer, if you are someone who is buying currently or thinking of buying anytime soon, and that's where I said, I think I've had some conversations with strategic buyers about, they're looking to buy in the next few months, about actually getting started in August, because while it's nice that interest rates will drop and you could lock in a lower interest rate if you started in September or when rates do drop, there is a likelihood that prices are going to jump and you're going to be in really competitive situations over houses that right now are sitting on the market and you can get really good deals on. So I think it really comes down to what you can afford. And, if right now you can't afford a home with current interest rates, I totally understand that. But if you are someone who can afford rates, but you're maybe just trying to be a little bit more strategic, there is a good argument to actually starting prior to rates, any major movement happening with rates, just because right now, like, I've toured some gorgeous homes in the last few weeks that are just sitting on the market. So it can be a really good opportunity for people. Don't feel like you have to wait, but also wait if it works for you. And of course, I'm here to talk with you about that if you kind of want to talk deeper strategy for you personally, because also it really depends on the area and price point you're looking in. I have people that are like, we want the inner core of Portland, this area, and I'm like, that's when you might want to start searching sooner, just because those are those markets that really are going to, more than any other market, are going to really pop off if rates do come down. If you're someone who's maybe looking at condos or things like that nature, well, it's not going to matter as much because condo market is not as competitive. And then on to you home sellers, I want to touch on this for you as well. So if you are someone who is thinking about selling your property, it's really going to depend on your timeline. So if selling sooner than later makes sense for you, again, there's going to be serious buyers that are out there. We can do all the marketing possible to get your house sold for top dollar in a quick amount of time. But yeah, waiting until rates do possibly drop can be a good strategy as well. Just that way, as the market does heat up, certain home styles and options are going to get, the best of the best, or what are the most popular people like, are going to get a crazy amount of activity. And then homes that are maybe, not seen as the ones that gets, sucked up right away, those ones then, as the top market gets really, really busy and competitive, people start looking at those other options more seriously and thinking, maybe I can live in this type of home versus the other, or what have you. As I said, condos and townhomes can be a little bit less competitive in our market. Those options become more of a possibility for people when they start losing out on the single family homes they love and they want to still live in the area they want to live in at a budget that works for them. Hope that all made sense. But yeah, I'm at time again. I'm always shocked how fast this goes and how much talking I've done, and it's about like 9 minutes. But if you have any questions for me, if you want to talk about buying a home in the Portland, Oregon area, obviously selling a home in the Portland, Oregon area as well. I cover all of the cities surrounding Portland. If you're not sure if I cover an area, feel free to ask me, or I can always refer you to someone else who is amazing in that area too. I'll have my contact information below, and I look forward to chatting with you about all things Portland, Oregon real estate, interest rates, all that fun stuff. All right, thanks. Bye.